All right, welcome back. Third and final segment of the show, Paul Amadeus Lane. We hope you enjoyed our segment on biometrics and how that's helping us to keep our identity safe. If you missed that, you can always check it out on demand, video. Check it out, iHeart, iTunes, Spreaker. We got it handled for you. We sure do. Well, it's our third and final segment of the show, and what I wanted to do is dedicate this segment to gaming. You know, I love games. Sean loves games. We love gaming. We love all the gaming news. And there's so much to keep up with nowadays about the trends, the new consoles, the new games, the reviews. Now, my next guest is a person you definitely want to follow. He and I met each other a few years back at E3, and we shared a special bond because both he and I are wheelchair users. And we just connected, and being in this industry of journalism, there's not a lot of people who look like us when it comes to being disabled and also people of color. So he and I kind of gravitated to each other, talk about the challenges that we face that other journalists don't have. And I decided to bring him back to talk about some of the latest gaming news and what we can learn about it. Joining me right now is my man with the master plan, Tony Polanco, in the house, gamer, writer, extraordinaire, editor, you name it. He got you covered. What's going on, Tony? How are you?
Oh, man, what's going on, my brother, man? Back on the tech zone, baby.
You know, we make it do what it does, man. You know, we hung out at E3. We had a lot of fun talking about the things, the stories coming out of E3. But now it's time to get down to the nuts and bolts. Now, right, all the things that we heard about, some of the things that are coming out. Well, what's the latest and the greatest happening in the world of gaming?
All right. Well, the biggest thing that's going on right now, I mean, there's a couple of things, but the big thing at E3 this year was the reveal of the Xbox One X, right? Now, that's going to be coming out in 2 months, November 7th, right? And it's still unclear what's going on with the system, right? Because Microsoft, they promised, quote unquote, true 4K, but you're finding out that a lot of the games are like you're using checkerboard rendering. For, you know, you guys who don't know, it's basically they take a resolution that's higher than 1080p, but then they upscale it to 4K. So I'm like, that's kind of interesting because I was under the impression that true 4K was 2160p, but Microsoft, they kind of changed the definition of what true 4K is, you know? And, you know, speaking about Microsoft, the only thing is like their biggest game, and they announced it at E3 as well, right, was Crackdown 3, right? That's been delayed to next year. So I'm looking at the lineup. I'm like, you have this $500 system coming out, but really nothing new or special to play on. I know you got Forza, you got Cuphead, but that's about it. You know, granted, they have their third-party games and stuff, but as far as exclusives go, very, very dry on the Xbox. So I'm wondering how they're going to convince people that aren't already, like, you know, avid Xbox fans to buy this expensive console, you know?
Now, do you think that it's going to be like it was when the Xbox One came out? We're just beta testers for the first 18 months, and then the real stuff is going to come out. But also too, let's touch on that 4K issue again, because you're right. True 4K is 2160, and if they're upscaling, that's not true 4K. I wonder if they're going to get themselves in some legal trouble if they continue to announce it being a 4K system and not mentioning, oh, it's nothing but upscale HD 1080p.
See, I'm wondering, can they, like, you know, speaking about the legal stuff, can they wiggle out of that by saying, oh, no, this is what we define as 4K, you know? Because like I said, they put out a checklist of what true 4K is, and checkerboard rendering is, you know, what they consider true 4K. You and I know that's not true 4K, but I don't know. Yeah, that is a good question, though. It's like, can they legally get in trouble for that? Because they're putting 4K on everything, you know? Even the PlayStation 4 Pro, when that came out, look at the box itself. It doesn't have 4K on at all. It'll say enhanced games. It won't say 4K because that system also does checkerboard rendering, you know? So that is I wish I had a lawyer friend here to, you know, ask him about that. I like that question. I'm going to ask that on Twitter, actually. Like, yo, can these cats get in, like, trouble for doing that? You know?
You know, and I think what can happen, too, is we're not sure if they'll be liable, but rest assured there's going to be some class action lawsuits. And a lot of times in class action lawsuits, they settle out of court anyway. But, you know, it's kind of like, and I use the Subway definition, Subway restaurant. Remember, It's supposed to have a foot long, But what happened? Remember, they found out they wasn't giving foot-long sandwiches, so it was this big old lawsuit that everybody was able to get involved who bought the sandwiches, and they got their money. And I think Microsoft is walking a very, very, very thin line, because let's just face it, the Justice Department now, who handles all these the fraud cases and things like that, they're not really friends of Microsoft. So I think I don't know, Tony. It's gonna be interesting how they're gonna handle that. But I'm like, people are going to buy this system because they think it's true 4K. And I remember when I first got my 4K TV, that's one of the things I really wanted to look at. Was it true 2160? Because there's a lot of TVs out there saying enhanced. No, I don't want enhanced. I want my full version of 2160. But it seems like Microsoft is playing a interesting game here. They are playing with our emotions, especially fanboy out there, because they know fanboy want to be the first one to get 4K. And you can imagine there's going to be some experts out there saying, "Oh, it's just as good as 4K," but it's going to be pretty interesting what's going to come out with it, because right now Taco Bell's doing their promotions. Do you have Taco Bell's in New York?
Oh yeah, we got them all over the place, man.
Okay, I was just checking because they started out here in California. I wasn't sure if they made their way to the NYC yet.
Nah, but because I'm just for people who don't know, I'm 37, right? They've had Taco Bell's in New York since I was like, ever since I've been in this country for like 30 years. Wow. I've always seen Taco Bell's here.
Well, since we had a Taco Bell story, let's talk about what's your favorite food at Taco Bell. Let's digress a little. What's your favorite food at Taco Bell?
I'm so basic. I just like the regular tacos, the regular like standard tacos. I like them a lot, I do want to say this so quickly, going back to the Microsoft thing. Okay, the system itself is capable of true 4K, right? So they're not misleading people on that end, but it's on the software side that things get a little bit murkier. You know what I'm saying? So, but the system itself, the actual console, can display true 4K. So on that level, they can't get in trouble, And I know most of their first party games, they will be native 4K, right? Forza 7 is going to be native 4K, but like the third party games, and they've said this too, they're under no obligation to have games in true 4K. So that's how they'll probably get away with the legal aspect of it,
Glad you clarified that. That's why I have the gaming expert on and me not trying to chop it up. But going back to Taco Bell just for one second, I'll make this one point. I remember when I was growing up, like I'm a little bit older than you, and I remember Taco Bell used to have this thing called a Bell Beefer. It was like a bun taco, really. So I had the ground beef, and a burger, and it was really good. They don't make them no more. I don't know why I brought it up, but if they ever make them, Tony, we're gonna have one together. They are so amazing. They are so good. But going back to
delicious, bro.
But going back to the promotion that Taco Bell is doing out here, they are, you have a chance to win an Xbox One. I don't know if you've seen that promotion. I don't know if it's running out there yet, but it's interesting. The hysteria that Microsoft is doing when it comes to the Xbox One. Do you think it's going to live up to the hype? Because I'm a Xbox gamer. You game on everything. PS, Xbox, PC gaming. You do everything. Do you think it's going to live up to the hype?
All right, I think it's going to live up to the hype for the people that are very excited for the Xbox One X. Here's the thing, and I said this after E3 too. Unlike the original Xbox One, I believe the Xbox One X is worth the $500 that it costs, right? There's a lot of power in that system, right? So I think if you're an avid Xbox gamer, or if you're just really into high-end tech, you're going to like the system, right? And Microsoft themselves has said this, the system is not for the average consumer. So I expect, just like with the PlayStation 4 Pro, after the holidays, no one's really going to be talking about it anymore. It's for the hardcore enthusiast guys, and again, Microsoft said this, the Xbox One S, the $250 one, the regular one, that's going to be the main selling system, and I suspect that's going to be the one that most people are going to end up buying. The X, that's for enthusiasts.
Got you. And we're starting to see that shift too, where the hardcore gamers are using these systems for gaming, but like the novices out there are using these console for streaming content. Now, do you think that Microsoft and PlayStation are kind of pandering to that crowd now and not putting in the things that we want in the systems? Well, what's your take on that?
All right. About streaming is an interesting thing. And you're talking about like gaming, like footage and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, you know how people,
Okay.
you know how people like watch Netflix and Hulu and things like that
Okay,
now.
yeah, that's why I want to clarify because streaming means like two things when it comes to consoles: either Netflix or actually, hey, I'm going to play a game and I'm going to
Yeah,
stream it. Okay, first of all, yeah, you kind of need that stuff in a console like Netflix, Hulu, Amazon. You can't get away with just actually, no, I'm a little bit wrong there. Nintendo has done that; they got away with it with the Switch. All that thing does is play games, right? But generally speaking, you need to have that stuff there. I remember last generation, right? The PS3 was the device that people watched Netflix on the most, which is insane, right? So yeah, I'm all for that, no problem with that. Um, and I understand, even though it's not gaming, I understand why they need to promote that sort of stuff in there because if even right now, if I were to go on my Xbox, most cats, they're watching Netflix or watching YouTube, watching all that stuff, because it's easy. It's like you play a game, but it's like, why turn off the system when you could do other things with it? You know what I'm saying? So I think it's a smart move. And the apps themselves don't take up a lot of space within the actual system. So it's fairly easy for people to just access that stuff whenever they want.
and that makes sense. That I've heard some like fanboys who are purists saying get that stuff off of there because they want to just play their games in there. But then you have this other generation of gamers out there who don't mind having being able to watch things and also play games on it too. And they're getting kind of creative with it now because now you can do a couple things while you're gaming now. I know with the Xbox One, I know that you can have your fantasy football app pinned to the right hand side while you're gaming and things like that. So we're starting to see this mass integration when it comes to not only gaming but also streaming as well too. How's PlayStation doing it now with their streaming service? Well, what's some of the feedback you've got from there? Was it PlayStation TV? What is their TV service called again? I forget sometimes.
Yeah, it's like it's View. That's what it's
View.
called. It's weird because the thing that's actually called PlayStation TV only plays Vita games on your television. It's like
Gotcha.
it's called View PlayStation TV. But yeah, they're doing the same thing. You could access. It's kind of like Amazon or whatever. You could access a bunch of shows and stuff. And people seem to like it. You have to pay a yearly subscription for it, just like if it was cable and stuff. And I know some cats that cut off cable completely and they watch most of their television through PlayStation View, basically. Because again, it's not only just like movies and TV shows. You can watch regular network television on this stuff, because again, a lot of people are cutting out cable. So a console is actually a pretty good alternative. Xbox been doing that. And then PlayStation got on top of that, so again, it's just, there's, going back to what you were saying about the purists, right? As long as your system plays games, why can't it have all these other features too? Like me personally, I don't really use that stuff. I mostly just use it a game. But I like the fact that's in there in case I want to indulge, because sometimes I'm like, hey, you know what? I want to check out a YouTube video. I'm already on my console. Let me go check out the video, Again, I don't indulge in that stuff too much, but you need that stuff in your system now. You need to have it. And like I said, when I look at my friends, there's a lot of people are using this stuff. Imagine if you take all that away from them, they're going to be very upset,
That's true. That is so true. So what game do you think is going to make a splash coming up in quarter 4? What do you think the game is? What's the most talked game you think is going to be, hyped up, during this last quarter of the year when we reach it?
Right now, Destiny 2 just dropped. I expect it to be a huge game this year, Unfortunately, your boy Tony can't play because it keeps crashing on my system, So hopefully they'll patch that out. But yeah, Destiny's going to be a big game. I expect the new Call of Duty game, the World War II game, to be big. It's funny because Call of Duty was huge for years, but in this generation specifically, it's been falling off, But now they're going back to basics, going back to World War II. I expect that to be really big, and obviously Mario Odyssey, right, for the Nintendo Switch. That's going to be really, really big. We haven't had a Mario game like that since Mario 64. So I think people are going to go absolutely insane for that. Also, I can't believe I forgot this. Star Wars Battlefront 2. That's going to be a monster, right? That's going to be ridiculously huge, And also, and this could help Xbox. Player Unknown Battleground on PC, they just announced, and the game isn't even finished, Paul. This is crazy. The game's unfinished game selling for $30. It's already sold 10 million copies on PC.
Wow.
And that's going to be console exclusive to Xbox. So I think that game could, because again, Xbox doesn't have a lot of exclusives this year. that game could help them out, especially when it's the full release version of the game. A lot of good stuff's coming. I'm also personally looking forward to Shadow of War. I love the original Shadow of Mordor, Middle Earth and stuff. It's going to be, this year has been incredible for games, man. Like, this is the first time in a long time where I've had to stop playing games in order to play other games. Like, it's just been an abundance of games. It's been a good year because most of this generation, I'm just being honest right now, has been very lackluster when it comes to games. Like, you'll get like maybe 5 big games in a year, which is pretty good. But this year, every month you get like at least 2 bangers, So I'm glad that this generation has finally given gamers the stuff we've been wanting since the beginning, So in this fall, this fall/winter is going to be hot despite the actual weather outdoors,
No, I hear you. And it was funny you bring up Battlefront. I remember when I was at EA Sports, the event over at E3, and just some of the Twitter comments of the unveiling of Battlefront was kind of brutal, but it's nice. Yeah. It's nice that they're going to, that when the game actually drops, I think it's going to be phenomenal, and definitely looking forward to that. Now I saw something on the Twitter the other day about you, about your opening up yourself to some questions about certain things, and tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so over on the Coalition, right, we're doing this thing where basically fans get to ask the writers, contributors, or whatever, like certain questions, right? It's funny you mentioned that because just right now, my man Gary, who's one of the founders of the Coalition, he hits me up. He's like, "Hey, Tony, we've already gotten in all the questions. So now it's just a matter of me recording, giving the answer." So it's just something fun. And Gary told me that that podcast they're doing is inspired by the podcast I do. It's called Throw Down Your Questions, which is because I do the Throw Down podcast on Thursdays, and I do the Throw Down Your Questions podcast on Sunday. So it's basically, that show is the easiest show for us. We just answer fan questions, so it's in that style, I just need to curate them, make sure there's no weird questions in there, but yeah, I think it's good because like, I feel a lot of like game writers, celebrities or whatever, like they could be a little distant from the fans, right? So this is our way to kind of bridge that gap. Even though I've been like that since day one, I'm always on Twitter responding and stuff. I try to do my best to respond to everybody. So yeah, that's just something we're doing over there on the Coalition, which should be a lot of fun. And it's like for the first week, it's for the Patreon supporters. And then after that, we open it up to everybody else,
Awesome. So how can ones go ahead and do that? Because we want to flood you on the Twitter with fanboys. Yeah. So how can they do that?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, my thing's already ended. We closed up shop on that. We already got questions, but I'm not sure who's going to be next. It might be our boy Richard Bailey Jr. So just go follow the Coalition. It's at thecoalition.com with a K. Over on Twitter at the Coalition. That's the Twitter handle. So check that out. We're a really good site. Diverse cast of writers and stuff. The Coalition's been around for years and stuff. They gave me a home, like when I left Dual Shockers and stuff. And even though I don't do as much writing for them anymore because I'm writing over for Geek.com now, I'm still a contributor to the Coalition. I still post my podcast up there, and they're a bunch of really good guys. To me, they're not even like coworkers or family over there. You know what I'm saying? So always the deepest respect for the Coalition, man.
Awesome, my man Tony Polanco, the Dominican Dominator. The man with the master plan. Thank you so much for joining me again, hyping us up on all the gaming news and what to look forward to. And we talked about Taco Bell. We talked about a lot of things. How can everybody connect with you, man?
Yeah, man, I'm hungry, son. Talk about Taco Bell, but yeah, man. If you want to follow me, go over to Twitter at Romudeth, ROMUDETH. Things can get a little crazy on it, but I'm a good guy, so don't worry about that. If you come at me correct, I'm gonna come at you correct. You know what I'm saying? And when you go over to my Twitter, on my bio, you're gonna see my stuff for Geek.com, the Coalition, Throwdown, all that. And obviously, if you go to YouTube, go to youtube.com/Throwdown Show. My podcast is up there. We've been growing a lot. We're about to hit 1,300 subscribers, which is really, really cool for us, And, yeah, just follow me for fun. I have fun on Twitter, man. As long as you come in there, with that right attitude, man, you're going to have a lot of fun with me, And obviously, since I'm here, I want to give a big shout out to my man Paul. Paul, I don't know if I told you this, but to me, you're an inspiration too, because there's not a lot of cats like us in the industry, like handicapped like writers and stuff, So I see you doing this. You've been doing it this stuff. I almost heard you've been doing this stuff for years. So I'm like, yo, if my man could do it, I could do it too. You know what I'm saying? So, thank you for giving me this little bit of a spotlight, and thank you for just being you and, like showing everybody that, not just like handicap gamers, but like even like minority gamers, yo, we could do this too. You know what I'm saying? It's not just for, like the typical white person or whatever. We can do it too, man.
Well said, my friend. And I appreciate the love, man, and support. And likewise, man, I admire what you do too, man. You're great at what you do. And to see the challenges that you've overcome to do this, man, is really refreshing. And keep doing what you're doing. Make sure you follow Tony and the crew. Check out the show Throwdown. They have a lot of fun. It's fun. I'm telling you, you guys will not be bored watching the Throwdown. It's amazing. Hey, great talking to you, my friend. Look forward to catching up with you.
All right, man. Peace.
The Dominican Dominator himself, Tony Polanco. Make sure you check him out. Check out his articles. Great writer, great individual, and just one of those people out there that you want to support and always get behind, because he's a great person. And Tony, look forward to having you back on, my friend, real soon. Well, time for us to make like a tree and get out of here, in the words of Biff Tannen, because remember in the first segment of the show I had a Back to the Future reference and I didn't say that. Well, I'm going to do it now. Next time on the show, we're going to talk about some more great tech news, some great features we're going to be adding to the Tech Zone. Again, thank you for your support. Please like, share these episodes. I appreciate all the feedback and the love that everyone has given me. And we're going to be doing some pretty cool giveaways soon. So you don't want to miss that. Make sure you continue to follow me on the Tech Zone. Until next time, I love you guys. And let's keep those who are affected by the massive hurricanes all around the world, the Bahamas, Cuba, the United States. Let's keep everyone in our thoughts and prayers. We're really concerned, and you are in our thoughts and prayers, and we hope that you have some form of normalcy, and hope if you're tuning into the show that we're able to put a smile on your face and give you a brief break while you're dealing with things that none of us thought we ever had to deal with. But take care of yourself, folks. We love you. Take care.